Well, after being beneath the sea with Beneath the Sea, we travel above the ocean floor through the waves in the USS Iowa. So welcome aboard to our presentation about the wonderful historical museum, Battleship Iowa. We are Battleship PR, so here are our group members.
Hi guys, my name is Sofia Gonzalez. I'm 23 years old. My major is communications with a concentration in public relations. I am also a senior and I'm finishing up my internship with the company Invent PR, which has been a really good experience. And I will be graduating in the spring of 2021.
Hi, I'm Troy Nguyen. I'm 22 years old. I'm a senior at Cal State Fullerton, advertising major, and I'm currently a community manager and board member for the CSUF Gaming and Esports Club, and I'm planning on graduating in the spring.
Hi guys, my name is Vanessa. I'm actually a double major in communications and business administration, and I will be doing my internship next semester, so I hope to take all that I've learned during this capstone course and applying it to my internship classes. And I'm anticipating graduating this upcoming summer.
Hi, my name is Sadiqa. I am a communications major with an emphasis in advertising, and I will be graduating next semester, spring 2021, and I'm also going to be doing my internship next semester as well.
So our client was the USS Battleship Iowa Museum. It first opened in 2012 on the Port of Los Angeles, and it is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and that focuses on educational, military and veteran, and community programs. These programs have helped propel the museum to become one of the top 5 museums in Los Angeles, and has now since become designated to be the home of the future National Museum of the Surface Navy.
All right, so for our SWOT analysis, the strengths include that the Battleship USS Iowa has a historic background. So it was built in 1942 and has 19 years of active service. The target audience consists of a huge fan base, from veterans of the Navy to history buffs who bring their families. Another strength is the outdoor tourism, which allows visitors to see the ship from the outside in, including virtual tours, which is available through the app. And lastly, for strengths, the donations, which are tax deductible. For weaknesses, the obvious one is the pandemic affecting the attendance. Also, the amount of social media engagement and the content on that social media, lacking information on the COVID-19 safety that the ship is taking, the outdoor tourism, and the women who are involved on the ship. So for opportunities, the fan base that the Battleship has provides third-party advertising on social media, including Instagram, Facebook, and even YouTube. Also, the amount of people going out is slowly increasing as time passes since the start of the pandemic. And the threats include the competition from other museums, especially other battleships, and the less visitors due to the pandemic and off season. So for the problem is COVID-19. So people are afraid of going onto the ship due to the pandemic with concerns of health and safety, and of course, preferring to stay indoors.
So Battleship Iowa is a prime location for tourists, particularly during the summer. It's perfect to venture off into new places, and as a result, Battleship Iowa tends to do extremely well during this season. During pre-COVID seasons, typically on an off season, Battleship Iowa would bring about 1,200 on people on average a week. So that's pretty good. However, during their on season, which consists of like summer months, their attendance rates almost double. They reach like 2,700 visitors per week. And so COVID has definitely hurt the museum in terms of visitors. After their first reopening, they were only averaging at 425 people per week. And we just heard that yesterday, Battleship Iowa will be shutting down due to the state mandate. So that's pretty devastating to hear. So yeah, that's definitely going to be hurting their attendance. And then we'll move on to our key audience. So after conducting research, we decided that our primary audience would be made up of people who are already fans or followers of the museum. So we did this because we thought this would be a good way to bring support to the museum. Since they're already fans, it's not very hard to convince them to get them to visit the museum. So that's why we decided to have them as our primary audience. And then we decided that our secondary audience would be the friends and family members of those followers of the fans on social media. And this would kind of be brought about because if the followers or fans start promoting the ship, then that brings more eyes, like their followers, to visit the Battleship Iowa. So that's why we decided to go with them as our secondary audience. So moving on to our key message. The key message or main takeaway that we wanted to convey through this campaign would be that Battleship Iowa is a safe place to visit during the COVID pandemic. The team on the ship is doing anything and everything they can to sanitize everything and just keep things safe for all visitors. Obviously, it's a very important thing to keep everybody safe during things like this, but life does kind of have to go on. People who work at the ship rely on that job to provide for their family. So it's very important, kind of like in an economical standpoint, to keep things rolling. And so that's kind of what we really just wanted to convey through this campaign. And so lastly, I'll be speaking about the campaign goals. So ultimately our goals were to increase both attendance and social media engagement. And by increasing social media engagement, the museum could potentially earn more publicity, and more publicity means the ship would get more visitors. So we definitely had that at the top of our list. And we also sought to build awareness on the methods that the ship was taking to show that it was a safe place to visit. We also were targeting building awareness of, oh, I'm sorry, that was it for this slide.
So moving on to objective one, a big thing that we wanted to do was to increase our social media engagement by 15%. And the reason why that's so important is because Battleship Iowa social media didn't really have much engagement with their audience, even though they had a very big amount of people on their social media. They had about 19,000 followers on Instagram and almost 500,000 followers on Facebook. So we figured, why not just try to reach out to the people that are already interested? And so we wanted to post content that was related to COVID-19 safety measures that the ship would be taking. By reaching all these people who are already interested in the ship and letting them know that it's safe to visit, we thought that this would be a great idea to help get more people involved with knowing about the COVID safety guidelines, as well as possibly bringing them down to the ship. And through this awareness building of safety measures, we wanted to introduce our campaign. So we originally had our campaign as SOS Iowa, which was like Save Our Ship Iowa, because of the effects that COVID-19 had on the ship with people not visiting. that was like a huge part of what they would get. They would have so much tourism and whatnot. And because of COVID, you know, that just sliced that up for them. However, after speaking to our client, they didn't really like the name of the campaign. And so we changed the name to Secure the Ship because it made it sound like that the ship was a little bit more so syncing with SOS Iowa. So we just changed the name, but the concept was still the same thing.
So our second objective was to drive at least 200 attendees to the ship by November 21st. And to accomplish this, we wanted to use our campaign Secure the Ship, and we would track the usage of our hashtag, people who were tagging the location of the USS Iowa, of them being there, and tagging the social media accounts. And we would use that to measure attendance growth. And we also included multiple opportunities on board the ship to incentivize participation in our campaign. And we did that through the use of stickers that were handed out to people who use the hashtag. The USS Iowa also had another incentive of their mascot, Vicky, which was a dog that was always walking around the board of the ship, and people could go visit him and like take pictures.
So for our timeline, we used the hashtag Secure the Ship, and we created a timeline for a week and a half for their social media content. This included photos and videos with the hashtag, letting people know of the campaign, which provides engagement and action. So the content consisted of COVID safety measures, such as sanitizing with the hospital grade gun and daily cleaning, signs of the actual ship, signs on the actual ship with information on the COVID safety and how they're following COVID safety measures. And also the campaign information, which included the photo spots that we used on the ship, and also reposting people who participated in using the hashtag and the photo spots. And the social media platforms for this campaign included Facebook and Instagram with an emphasis on their stories.
And just to add on to that, one of the reasons why our campaign was only a week and a half was because during that time, the Battleship was actually running their own campaign. And so they didn't want their campaign and our campaign to clash. And so they shaved off a couple of days of our campaign to fit their schedule. So moving on to the budget. So our budget was very cost efficient. We didn't need to spend much money on our props. We kept in mind our client's budget and worked on finding the most bang for your buck kind of items. So all we needed was the photo spot signs, the posters, and just the stickers. So here are some of the design process that we went through. Vanessa took the charge to design these herself. So we kind of went from this design in the top left corner to the biggest design on the bottom. And we obviously got it approved by our client, and we've turned that into a poster. So this is the finished result. And this is the sign that we got from Amazon and whatnot as well.
So for the stickers, it was kind of like a trial and error type of thing. We had to design many actual templates and see if our client would approve of them. So as you can see, we have many examples here. There's actually way more than this, but we just decided to include some of them just so you could see what our process was like. And in the end, we finally got approval for the sticker on that last page, and that's how they turned out. I think they turned out pretty great, but we just tried to keep things very minimal and very clear, and that's what our client wanted, and that's what we gave them.
So the evaluation of our finished objectives. So our first objective was to increase social media engagement by 15%. And to accomplish this, we wanted to first educate the Battleship followers of the safety precautions we had on board the ship. So like Sophia said, we had videos and photos of the signs and all the safety precautions they were taking. Then we wanted to launch the Secure the Ship campaign, which allowed followers to begin interacting with our posts and our social media accounts themselves by posting photos of themselves with our accompanying hashtag Secure the Ship. And then, of course, they were able to also interact with the touristy photo spots on board. And then we were able to keep track of these posts through Facebook analytics and Instagram analytics. And the results of these were, so on Facebook, our overall people reached, so accounts, had increased 7% over the month. So that's about 28,000 viewers. Our overall post engagements were up 84% from the previous month. And our overall page likes increased 25%, with our most popular post being the second most liked on the page. And that was around like 9,000, and their posts normally go around for like 300 or like 400 likes. And our most popular post had reached 21,616 people and had 1,497 engagements. And on Instagram, our post reach, which was the same post that we used on Facebook, had reached 8,398 accounts, with 46% of those being people who don't follow the page. So they probably reached the page through means of our hashtag, people who had shared it on their stories, or the search feature. We had 8,747 impressions, with 327 of them having been from the hashtag alone. And unfortunately, we weren't able to find an accurate total for how many posts and interactions that included our hashtag due to Instagram removing their recent hashtag function due to the election season. So for our second objective, we wanted to drive at least 200 attendees to the ship by November 21st. And to accomplish this, we wanted to originally track posts, including the hashtag, to measure the growth in attendance from our campaign. And then we were also going to use our incentive to count up how many people had claimed it on board the ship. Unfortunately, this objective was, we were unable to really measure this one, so I kind of consider it a failure, but due to the removal of the recent hashtag usage feature, we couldn't keep track or even look up people who had used the hashtag or any posts. And we were also unable to calculate a visitor count through how many stickers had been claimed on the ship, due to the ship being understaffed thanks to the dwindling attendance from lockdown, and we didn't want to take away from the crew members' duties on board. We were able to get some screenshots of the posts when they were coming in. So here are some examples of people posting on board the ship with the hashtag.
Right, so this was really great, and we would have to say that even though our campaign ran for like a week and a half or even less than that, we still managed to get people to come down to the ship and use the hashtag. So moving forward, we would believe that if we had a little bit more time to run our campaign, we probably would have had a lot more people involved. But this is just the span of like less than a week. So it was really nice to see people using the hashtag and coming down to the ship and whatnot. So that was extremely encouraging. That concludes our presentation.